Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our Quarantine Pod season 1, episode 2. Back here again. EeJay is here again. EeJay, thanks for
Hello.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on the front line, as always.
We're trying.
Ola, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your work behind the laptop, like I'm doing. Our fingers are suffering on our backs for sitting down for so long.
Yeah, can imagine.
Okay, on this episode, we're going to try to switch it up a little bit. But before I start, I always forget to do this. I want to do a quick admin. If you like our content, please follow us on Twitter as FootyAD Fantasy. Facebook is Extraordinary Footy Fans. Instagram is Fantasy Footy. We have a YouTube channel also, which is going on. It's called Footy Fantasy. We also have a podcast also. You can find us on Spotify, anywhere you find your podcasts. On Apple, it's called The Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy is one word podcast. So, follow us, connect with us, engage with us. We'll start with the quiz first. Then we'll talk about the topic about the furlough that's going on currently. The thoughts about some clubs putting non-playing staff on furlough. For those who don't know that, this is pretty much where people are put on. Remind me again, furlough is when they are put on unemployment, right?
Well, usually the employer, in this case, the employer will keep them working.
Okay.
But the employer won't pay their full wages. So what happens is sometimes maybe the government will pay maybe 70%, 80% of the salary, and the employer maybe it's like 20%. It depends on the establishment. Over here in Ireland, I think ours is they have a certain amount of money the government will pay towards the salary, and then the employer will maybe pay a little more or not pay at all, depending on how much you're earning normally. So that's a rough idea. The government will pay your wages while the employer is incentivized to keep you on their payroll, so they don't lay you off when the business is closed.
Okay.
So
I think it's a little bit different here. Like if they furlough you here, like it depends on the company though. But if they furlough you here in America, like you're kind of temporarily laid off until like they can hire you back. So you're not laid off per se, but the idea is that they will not be paying your salary for a period of time. You will have to go file for unemployment.
Correct. So that's how it works in America.
That's how it is here. So maybe in England, maybe it's closer to Ireland, and maybe they have a deal that if they furlough you over there, like these employees, and we'll talk about that, if they furlough them, maybe they're getting some kind of compensation from the government. I don't know.
Correct. And that's what it is. They're getting compensation from the government, and a lot of controversy. People have been angry because obviously that money is typically left for people who need it, considering the fact that most of these clubs, especially EPL clubs to be specific, have the financial means, to pay
for these people.
To pay for this for a while. And that's one of the things. The other thing we want to talk about is just go back in history, a bit of nostalgia from this season. This season looks like it's 10 years ago, but it was just a couple of weeks ago.
I don't remember it.
It does. So we're trying to say what your favorite game from this current season. It will be interesting to get people's thoughts about that. But we'll start with the quiz. EeJay, we have 3 numbers to pick from. 3 sections: soccer, football, depending on where you're watching. One is from tennis, long tennis to be specific, and general knowledge. So EeJay, 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter. It could be any of them. I said now, it's not in order. It's just you have to choose a random number.
Okay, so I picked 2.
Okay, you pick 2. Ola, so you have 1 and 3 left. Ola, what do you pick?
I pick 1.
You pick 1. Okay.
Yep.
I feel like I gave it away.
Did you? I don't know.
Gave it the numbers of what it was like. Oh, I think I gave it away.
No,
I just picked 2.
Yeah, EeJay picked the tennis question. Ola picked a football question. So we'll start with you, EeJay, since you picked first. Luckily, it's multiple choice because these are hard questions, so I had to be multiple choice.
Cool.
So EeJay, which Russian tennis player was the first to win a Grand Slam in singles in 1996?
Okay.
So the options are Marat Safin. So this is how we're going to do it. For every question you get 2 points.
Okay.
If you don't get it, I'm going to time it in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want 1 minute. If you don't get it, it goes to Ola. Ola gets one point for bonus, and that's what we'll do for each. Okay. So back again, going back to the question: which Russian tennis player was the first to win a Grand Slam title singles in '96? 1. Option A, Marat Safin. Option B, Yevgeny Kafelnikov. This tongue twisters. C is Anna Konikova. I think I did well with that one. D, Maria Sharapova. E, Svetnia Kuznetsova.
Kuznetsova.
Kuznetsova. Okay, so I'll repeat the options again, EJ.
No, I heard you. I heard you.
I heard you. Okay, so what's your answer?
I think the question is tricky because I don't know. So by process of elimination, I'm gonna go with B.
Which is?
I have no idea what he just said. I don't know his name.
Yeah, tell me the name. Tell me the name. You said it's not Safin.
It's B. Who was B? Who was option B?
So A was Safin, right?
Yeah. Who was B?
B was Kafelnikov.
Wait, spell Kafelnikov, because are you saying the name right?
Yevgeny Kafelnikov is Kafelnikov. Kafelnikov.
I don't believe it's Safin. Safin would have had to have won at 16 to be the person. It's not him, so it's B.
Okay, final answer B.
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Correct, EJ.
Process of elimination.
Process of elimination. That's good. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 points for EJ. Ola, your question, a soccer question. So you have to know this. You have to. Let me stop, reset. Okay, so question: which keeper has made the most saves in the EPL ever?
Ever.
To date, yes, to date.
Right.
So the options are which save? So this is the question. So I'm very specific. Which keeper has made the most saves in the EPL to date among the options that's given? That doesn't mean that the person is the all-time saves person.
Oh, okay.
Okay. A, Ben Foster. B, Peter Cech. C, Tim Howard. D, David De Gea. E, Joe Hart. Your time starts. You have 1 minute.
That question
it's hard.
It's not that it's hard. If you're going to say current players, then why are you putting players that are retired?
No, I didn't say current players. I said from the list of players. I didn't say current players. I said from the options to date.
Okay. Well, yeah. David De Gea is still keeping, so he's going definitely probably have more saves than somebody who is retired. Okay. Well, I'll go with can't be Peter Cech. Peter Cech didn't make that many saves when he was at Chelsea, so it's not Peter Cech. David De Gea has made many saves for United because their defense is porous. Was porous a few years, yeah, so he had to make many saves.
Okay.
Howard. No, not Tim Howard.
Okay. Last person is Joe Hart or Ben Foster.
I'm thinking it might be Ben Foster. Ben Foster has been keeping for a long time, and he keeps for all these relegation teams where he has to make many saves. I'll go with Foster.
Okay, and answer Ben Foster. Correct. A lot. That's a smart conversation. He's actually the all-time saves. Ben Foster. He saved 1,150 saves since. Now there's a caveat to that. Since the Premiership started collecting data for saves, right?
On Opta.
Opta started in, I think, 06 or 07. Can't remember when, but one of those times. Just Opta started collecting data. So yeah, it's Ben Foster. Good job, guys. Wow, this is impressive. Okay, so there's a bonus. There's going to be a bonus one. Okay. So who was the first African American female astronaut? So it's hard. I said it's hard. I said it. A, Wilma Rudolph. B, Claudette Colvin. C, Mary Jane Patterson. D, Phyllis Whitley. And E, Dr. May Jemison.
I have no clue.
Just take a guess.
I'll go with A. I like her name. Why not?
Uma Rudolph. Okay. Ola.
I'll go with the doctor.
Ola is very good. His pop quiz is very correct. That's correct. Ola is right. Dr. May Jemison was the first female astronaut.
I didn't know, but I just said, well,
it was a guess. It was a guess. I mean, well, that's a good guess. Let's just go with the doctor.
That's fine.
In your true typical Nigerian self, who likes titles, doctor, engineer. Okay, so we go into the questions. That was good. That was a good one.
We're going to which questions? What about my prize? I
won your prize.
Premier League trophy. Oh yeah, absolutely to me.
That's what you get. Certification. I'll send you a certification of participation for Liverpool. Okay, so since Ola is the winner of the quiz, I like us to start. You get the honor of starting. What are your thoughts of the whole controversy? And things that, like we said, things are changing on a daily basis. I mean, players. So I guess first, let me know what are your initial thoughts, and then we can delve into the new developments.
Well, when they first, I think it was Newcastle and Spurs that first did this following, like, oh, okay, we're going to put staff on follow and we'll take money from the government. And of course, they got negative publicity. Right. Then Norwich and Bournemouth followed. And then surprisingly, Liverpool followed, which many of us as Liverpool fans were not happy with that either. And it was crazy that they actually did it after seeing the bad publicity Newcastle and Spurs got for doing it. Yeah. So that was the most disappointing. I was like, are you people for real? Didn't you see how badly these people got bad publicity based on this thing? And apart from bad publicity, I just felt it was morally wrong. Yeah. It's not legal. Yeah, okay. The scheme was there by the UK government for businesses to avail of it. So what Liverpool and Newcastle and Spurs are doing, it's not illegal, but it's just morally wrong. Like you guys, you're turning over big money or you're billionaires. And let's get this right. It's not only football clubs that are doing that. It's like Richard Branson, who is a billionaire who has many businesses. Some of his staff are also, he is also availing of that scheme with some of his companies. So it's not like it's only football clubs that are doing it, but Liverpool have billionaire owners. Our owner is a billionaire. Yeah. So what stops you from dipping a little bit into your own pocket, even if you say, okay, it's just for a few months, like maybe 3 months. Some people did the calculation. They said this stuff that you're trying to put on follow, it would have cost the club, it should have saved the club like 2.5 million or something. Very small money. Like, are you telling me that John Eric cannot afford to take 2.5 million from his own pocket? That's why fans were angry. Like, come on, look at Mike Ashley. He's a billionaire. Spurs, I think maybe they're owned by a consortium. But Mike Ashley is a billionaire. It did it. So that's why people got so angry. And, well, of course, they reversed the decision on Monday. Yeah. But for me, the damage was done. And like I've said somewhere else, this is not the first time they've done something like this. Like they will make an unpopular decision. And then when people shout, they'll now backtrack and say, we're sorry. Okay, yes, it's good that you say you're sorry, but don't bother doing the bad thing in the first place. It's like the tough time as Liverpool owners. Now, I'm not saying they're extremely bad owners. They've done a lot of things good for Liverpool, but making decisions like that. So overall, I'm not limiting this to only Liverpool. I'm just saying clubs who are making a lot of money, who are making profits, who are owned by billionaire owners. I don't need for you to put your staff, use the UK government scheme to put your staff on follow. Why? Why should you? You know, there are smaller businesses who are in danger of going out of business. Should be the ones making use of that scheme. So that's on it.
That's true. That's a fair point. EeJay, what are your thoughts?
I think you said it all. I didn't really know much about, the especially the money behind, the numbers behind these type of incidents. So for instance, you said 2.5 million would have been what, Liverpool would have saved by furloughing these people and relying on the government. And that's chicken change to these clubs. So I think that's definitely a fair argument. If I didn't know that number, I may have had a different argument. Also, I think the government UK has to take some kind of responsibility. Maybe if they set a cap on something, like exactly. Companies have this limit, and above that you can't you can't participate,
Yeah.
you know, or like a time frame or something to stop. Because I mean, if people are going to take advantage, if the advantage is there to be taken, so I think they just have to be, you know, they have to force their hand. The government does, you know. I think as long as you reverse that decision like Liverpool did, and maybe hopefully other clubs follow suit. It doesn't seem like they are, but if they do,
yeah, TV. You trust them. They won't do the right thing.
Yeah, so, and that's unfortunate, but you know, I think definitely the government needs to probably step in. I mean, they step in everything else. You would think that they would have a little bit more, be less big corporation friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, that's my thoughts. It's similar to yours.
So my thoughts. I agree with what everybody's saying, but I want to play like devil's advocate. Since our typical devil's advocate guy decided to run away from the quiz, who was supposed to be here, he likes to play devil's advocate. So I'll sit in his shoes and play devil's advocate a little bit. First, I guess my question is, how much did Liverpool make? Because I know the whole argument is like, oh, Liverpool made the highest amount of profits. How much did they make?
It was 43 million, and to be honest, 43 million. It's easy for that money to. I understand the point. I'll let you make your point. I understand the point about the profits. Okay, that profit. It's not like that money is sitting there in the account.
Correct.
You know, that's one different thing. But I'll just quickly finish based on my point that I said. I'm not saying that the club should have. I'm talking about John Henry, the owner himself.
Okay, I agree. That was where I was going to go to. That's where I was going to go to, because all these billionaire owners, they try to see the club, and I'm sure there are legal people advise them of things like this. They try to separate themselves, you know, as a separate entity, and the club as a separate entity. So, and when I started diving a lot into financials of football clubs, is football clubs, their major assets, apart from like, you know, the facilities and the building, is the players, like they have. Those are their assets. From a profits standpoint, margins, their margins are not as big. So football clubs, in comparison to like Richard Branson, like you said, those kind of corporations, they're not really big corporations when it comes to when it comes to revenue. They're kind of almost getting big. When it comes to profit margins, they don't make that much money. They really don't. I mean, I think that if I remember last year, Manchester United's total profit, which is usually one of the biggest, was like 80-something million. You know, that's what we made the whole of. And out of that 80-something million, the Glazers, you know, and the Keys take out like $20-something million. So what's left is like, they take it out every year. They take out their yearly dividends. They pay themselves about 20 million. So what's left like 60 to 50 to play around with. So coming from Liverpool's standpoint, to play devil's advocate, I understand slightly. If you remove the moral ethics and I want to be ruthless and be a business person, I understand why they were like, oh, this is an opportunity. Okay, let's take advantage of it. You know, but when you now put the moral part of football, the service, football being the fact that it's supposed to be like social organization. That's what they were developed to be. Yes, it's absolutely wrong to even do that in the first place. Now go to Mike Ashley and Daniel Levy. I don't think we've talked enough about them, especially Daniel Levy.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Levy now, maybe I'm slightly deviated. I don't want to chase this rabbit too much. I'll just make some of my points. I think Daniel Levy, for all the good work he's done with Spurs, because if you remember where Spurs started from financially, like all the good work he's done the last 15 years, where they were to build their own stadium now they're among top 6, you know, in the big boys in the Premiership. They're among top 10, top 15 now financially. He has done so much good work to put Spurs to where they are. I think Daniel Levy is in danger of gradually like ruining all his good work, because I'm hearing rumors. The rumors are him and the family he represents, the Joe Louis family. I think Joe Louis is the majority owner, that they want to sell. Those are the rumors. Those are rumors, unconfirmed rumors. I'm not confirming anything. That it looks like he wants to sell, because some of his decisions, going back again, I'm not trying to chase too much, right? Going back to firing Pochettino, okay, that's fine. He was underperforming for what he was doing, but then you now go to a manager who you know will not work within your restraints of your your financial budget, and you know it's going to lead to like a showdown with you and him. It just personally didn't make any sense to me going for Pochettino to that type of manager when you know you have limitations budget-wise, you know. So they're now doing this, and there'll be calls for them to reverse it. He's not even addressing it. I think when he's trying to address it, he was making some nasty comments like, "Oh, would you rather if I, if I employ this non-playing staff to go and work in my garden. But it's just like, what? Yeah, he made those comments recently.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's not backing down. It's not backing down.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think football clubs are in danger of, because what they're not seeing, in my opinion, it's just my personal opinion with this COVID, is there's going to be a behavioral change where fans know they're more important. Fans also know that, yes, we love football. We crave football. We crave to be back there watching the games and all of that. But I think there could be there's a slight danger where fans might start pushing back based on, and the pushing back is, okay, these ticket prices, why am I paying 100 and something pounds? Like there might be a drop in post-COVID in the amount of people like who renew season ticket, who pack the stadiums. If clubs are not careful, the way they manage this whole situation with the players, with the fans, and decisions that they make. I think some clubs.
What happened with Liverpool 2 or 3 years ago? This same owner, they increased the ticket price to £77, and Liverpool fans were like, "Are you for real?"
They walked out, right? They walked
out. And within the next couple of days after Liverpool fans walked out, they just reversed the decision. They're like, "Oh, we're so sorry. It's like they're always trying to push their limit and let's see how far we can push them. Maybe they won't talk. And immediately they just shout and they get negative publicity. They just back down and say, "Oh, okay, we're sorry. We didn't mean to do that." They wanted to increase ticket prices. And that's why I agree with Ayo that eventually football fans will start pushing back. It's not just Liverpool. Man United fans have been protesting against the Glazers for ages. Arsenal fans have been protesting against Kroenke. There'll come a time when fans will be like, enough is enough. And when fans, like, I think one of the things that actually forwarded the exit of Wenger was when stadiums started getting empty. That's when they were like, these fans are not coming to watch the match again, because the owners know, okay, maybe going to the match is not going to be a big part of the income they make, but the merchandising, the look, the public always matters to them. They always want to. Stadium is full, the fans are happy. It's a good look. They market that, So immediately the fans start staying away. They're like, okay, well, we have to take action. So
absolutely, image. So from your standpoint now, piggybacking what you said, I mean, I was in Manchester United. I was in Old Trafford for the game against Burnley. The whole stadium was so pissed. They were annoyed. They were singing, unheard of type songs against the Glazers, Born the Glazers, things that, it was that bad. It was really, people were pissed. And just because of that, I was televised on national TV, because I didn't know that was a Wednesday night game. Everybody saw it, and how heated it got in the stadium. Plus, I mean, the thing that when they went to what's his name, Ed Woodward's house, which obviously I don't approve of, but all of that culminating, it made them rush, and they fast forwarded the signing of Fernandes. They were not going to do it. Or at least they would have waited till the final day. They were not going to do it. That was what's going to happen. If that did not happen, they were not going to do it. They were just going to play it out. But the season was threatening to spiral out of control based on the attitude of the fans and the performance, even on the pitch at that time. So I agree. Fans pushing can change a lot. So I guess we'll end it with something less serious, something more you can look back to for football.
I thought you wanted to talk about the wages, about player wages and things like that, about asking players to.
That's true. I kind of almost skipped that. Okay, so these are my quick thoughts. I'll start with my own quick thoughts about it. Absolutely do not agree with it. I know the players have released something. I don't know if any of you have read it. I'll let both of you. Whoever has read it out, we can talk about that. I haven't really read it to speak about it, but obviously when it came out, was it last week? I was totally against it, just because I could see where the end goal was. Taking players to take pay cuts, which obviously will improve the bottom line of the clubs, and they can still reduce the amount of hits they take from this reduced revenue they are missing. And at the end of the day, the amount that gets to NHS will be, I think, slightly reduced in comparison if it goes directly from the players directly to the NHS, and in the end, So
let me ask you a quick question. The 30% that the clubs were trying to take, were they planning to give it to the NHS, or were they just trying to improve their bottom line?
They were trying. Okay. In answer to that question, I was going to raise another point when we're talking about following clubs putting staff on follow. The reality is like Ayo said also, football clubs, many of them don't actually even make big profit. Many of them make losses.
Yeah.
So many clubs, the smaller clubs are in big trouble now, like Burnley, all those Norwich, because there's no money coming in, but they're still having to pay their staff and all the other things. So these clubs, that's why I know the banter is, oh, okay, let them cancel the season so Liverpool doesn't win the league. But all these people, the banter they are doing, it has serious financial implications. If the season does not end, all these clubs have to pay close to £1 billion back, or they will lose £1 billion because Sky and BT, who sponsor the Premier League, are going to ask for that money back. So the 20 Premier League clubs will lose close to £1 billion, and many of them are already struggling as it is. They're struggling because there's no money coming in. So in that case, where the money is not coming in, and that's why they're now begging the players that, okay, if you take a 30% pay cut, that means we can save some money. Instead of giving you your full salary, we are paying you only 70% salary. But now I understand why the players are coming from. The players are like, okay, instead of doing that, we will organize by ourselves, which is what they've done today now. They said, we'll organize by ourselves. We will do it, players together initiative, and we'll just pay that money. We'll pay, don't force us to take, let us pay what we want to the NHS directly. Don't be telling 30% pay cut. So that's where it comes in, because the clubs are saying, oh, we want to improve our bottom line. We're making losses. Now, there was one statement I saw on Sky News before we started. One of the players, I think it was a lawyer, he was saying in the last year, Premier League clubs made £258 million in profit or something like that. They made all that profit and they didn't share it with the players. But now the Premier League clubs are struggling. Now you don't want the players to take pay cut. That's exactly what he said.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you see the and what makes it annoying for the players is the health secretary in the UK started calling out the players and saying, oh, look at all the Premier League players, you're millionaires, you're not paying money. What are you talking about? You're a politician. You guys didn't do your own job properly. And next, scapegoating the players. That's why you skipping. Are they the only millionaires in the country? What about the billionaires? Okay, what about other sports stars? Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, they made £30 million on their fight. Lewis Hamilton. Why are you not calling those ones out? They're not calling out the players. Why are footballers always the easy scapegoats? There are other people with millions. You're not calling them out. And you do your own job properly. You don't do your own job properly. People are dying, and now you don't want to start scapegoating the players. So that's my own take on the issue.
Yeah. I agree. I absolutely agree. I'm always pro players. I always think players have always been easy targets. Most times I'm pro players. I'm only against the player when the player degrades himself. The player is unprofessional. Once he doesn't do any of those things, I'm always pro players, because clubs, I always go back to that. I always say they get away with murder. A lot of times they do, because they can hide under the umbrella. And when I say clubs, I don't mean club as maybe Liverpool, Manchester, Arsenal. It's the people running the club. They hide under the umbrella of, oh, back your club, support your club, and make wrong decisions and hurt players, and players can't fight back. And they play players in bad image in the public that, oh, this player, sometimes, not all times, sometimes some players, we have cases, people like Neymar, Ben Arfa, valid cases of players who degrade themselves. I don't support that. But there are sometimes that players, they turn players against, fans and all of that.
Against the players.
But where are the people running the club? Who puts them accountable? Nobody, because they hide behind Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal made a decision. No, you made a decision in the name of Manchester, and you make bad decisions sometimes, and nobody calls them out. So that's why. Those are my thoughts. EeJay, any closing thoughts about the?
No, I don't believe in them taking pay cuts. I didn't even know half the issues behind it. So and my reason is that, and again, I'm not attuned to the financials of these football teams, but I guess, like, for instance, Ozil makes $350K a week. So that's $350K a week every week of the year, right? Even when he doesn't play.
Correct.
We anticipate that. I mean, the idea, unless they don't pay them for some weeks.
No, I think every week of the year.
Every week of the year.
Okay.
So, like, if these players if we're expecting them to finish the season at some point, then they're still going to play the same number of games, unless we have an abbreviated season, which we've not yet talked about. Then they're going to play the same 38 games, which they would have played last year, and you would have paid them every week of the year. So I don't know what the rationale would be, apart from, you want to save money for your club, and it's okay for you to ask. But yeah, I would never have agreed with them mandating it. Or even like guilt tripping the players into donating anything. That's a personal decision. And I saw a lot of players feeling like they were guilt tripped, like kind of like you donate money, why aren't you donating? You make all this million, or even Aaron Ramsey donated 10,000 pounds, and people were still calling him out. They're like, upon the 400,000 pounds you make a week, you can only give 10,000 pounds. You know, like everyone has their opinions about this, and I think people have to part with what money they want to part with, but they have to earn the money that they're allowed to earn. They have a contract, So it didn't sit well with me. But even now, after what you guys have said, it definitely doesn't sit well with me anymore.
Absolutely. So I mean, there was something that Troy Deeney, sorry to cut you off, EeJay. There's something Troy Deeney said. This is the United stand. I mean, a lot of it was United talk, but there was like 3 to 5 minutes where it touched on all of this. If I can find that clip, maybe that particular segment, I'll send it to you guys. Troy Deeney, I like getting opinions of footballers on sensitive issues like this, especially active footballers, because you have pundits. Sometimes they have to have their own agenda because of where they are. There's fans to have their own agenda because obviously they're trying to sell the product. There are ex-managers who have to defend. But having someone who is playing currently, in an active club, touch on some of those sensitive topics. I mean, I think that was refreshing. Anyways, EeJay, you can finish your point. I think I feel like I cut you
off. No, that's it.
Okay. I think this was fun, and we end with something more interesting, I guess. So EeJay, we'll start with you. Yeah, I think it's more interesting. What was your best, EeJay, tell us what was your best game of the season? Because this might not end, it might come back, but so far, let's just do what so far. What was your best game of the season so far? And why?
Okay, it wasn't an easy question because I had to think back, like, which game did I enjoy? Because it's been a long, I've not watched football in like weeks. Anyway, so let's go.
I thought you were going to throw us out, do self-throw. Okay, you didn't even do that.
No. Not yet. I'm gonna go with Arsenal United 2-0. That was good. New Year's Day. Obviously, we didn't have. I could have picked another club and another game. I think I like Norwich and Man City because it's back-to-back, goals after goal, and City. Norwich just beat City and it was so unexpected. It was very exciting. Okay. But I think I like the reason I chose Arsenal and United is because obviously you guys know the day I see Arsenal beat United is always happiest day of my life usually. And it was almost not. Even though I felt like we could do it.
I understand. We understand why.
Yeah, so you guys get it.
That ex, you're like that ex when you see your ex always doing well. Anytime your ex falls down or something bad happens to your ex, you're always looking for that because your ex is just doing well, just living his best life.
Doing that well.
It's okay. We're living our best life, but it's okay.
You're doing okay. Arteta, one of Arteta's earlier games, I think, and we had just lost at Chelsea. Fairly, in my opinion, which they haven't suffered yet for what they did to us that day. But and then we come and it's like we're at home. We played our hearts out that day.
Arsenal played well. Arsenal played us that day. I agree. That was a if you guys had more clinical forward, like maybe if Lacazette even played that day. Did he play?
Yeah.
If Lacazette was more clinical, forward. Or better form, let me use that word, or even Aubameyang, if you didn't have to defend on the left, Sunday, I think that was the day that we played really badly. You guys should have probably scored more goals, in my opinion. We played really badly in that game. Ola.
Okay. Well, for me, the question was not really about the best game, about which one did I enjoy the most.
Yeah. That's
and of course, so it's going to be a Liverpool answer. Sorry.
That's fine.
I'm not going to say I enjoyed Man United winning the match or Arsenal winning the match.
That's fine. I'm going to surprise you. My choice to surprise you, actually. Go ahead.
The match I enjoyed. Well, like EeJay mentioned, the Norwich Man City game was fantastic, actually. I enjoyed that match. But the Liverpool match I enjoyed most was the one straight after coming back from Dubai. After the Club World Championship, we had to play against Leicester. And it was first versus second. It was first versus second. And everybody, for me, I thought it was going to be a tough match because we had to go all the way to Dubai, had to play
I bet straight as TAA. I bet that destroyed my fantasy. Ola knows that's what destroyed. Me and Ola were neck and neck. I went and benched TAA. I benched him in that game. I'll never forgive myself. I'm not give myself for that.
Yeah, he was fantastic that game. That was the first thing I actually, honestly, I knew he's great, but he's good kid. But I never paid attention to that game. I was like, what is going on? Like, why is this kid playing like he's on steroids?
I think he had 22 points in fantasy that week.
22 or something. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
But yeah, it was for many Liverpool fans. That's when they started thinking, well, this might be the season. But until Corona came, but yeah, that match was when we were like, wow, they were beating the team were in second place, and we smashed them 4-0 in their own place, and it could have been, because it was like from minute 1 to 90 minutes we totally dominated them, and it was Brendan Rodgers. Now I don't hate Brendan. I like Brendan Rodgers, but his former manager, and was already making out, and it was like, yeah, we're going to show Liverpool and all that. Well, we just put him in his place, put Leicester in their place. And then I think the gap went. I think the next day, Man City lost to Wolves. So that's when the gap now started becoming big. Man City lost to Wolves either the same day or the next day. So I really enjoyed that game. It was my favorite game of the season because
that was a December game, right? That was a December game.
It was in December, yeah. So there were packed a bunch of games around that period.
That's why I enjoyed it, because I was with the family, with my sister and her family and everybody. I think we watched it over there because it was December 26th or something. It was around Christmas anyway.
It was Boxing Day game. I think I remember. I remember watching it home too, like people here, and I was just like, wow, what is this? And I was just shouting. I'm like, and people were like, what's going on? I said, my fantasy. I was just, I was mad. I was really mad because I made that call. Because let me bench it. He would do what?
2 assists and a goal. What a pity.
I
missed out.
I did. It's okay. Hopefully it can end so that we can null and void fantasy too. That's something we have to talk about. I don't know how we're going to do the fantasy thing. I don't know. It's just,
On you. I'm not. I'll call lawyer for you, man.
Okay, so mine is an interesting one. It's probably slightly controversial, and I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to pander. The Liverpool Atletico game, I really enjoyed that game. I did enjoy it because the standard of football I saw in that game, probably the only game, the standard of football, the level of intensity of that game. I think I posted something about it when the game was going on. I was watching that game at work, no volume. This is no volume on, but I could feel the intensity in my seat. I'm like, damn. And I started watching, I think towards the second half when I was leaving, I put it on my phone and I was driving, and I could feel the intensity of that game without watching it. That game was super intense. So it was not just intense, the quality, tactically, I could see what was going on. I enjoyed the game. I could see the contrasting style of play. Atletico trying to defend, sit deep, trying to play dark arts football. Liverpool trying to attack, press them, pin them in positions, move the defense around. So I enjoyed the game, especially again, you Atletico, because you couldn't see that coming. It looked like one-way traffic up until extra time, when those mistakes happened and Atletico got confidence and started coming out, and they won that game. I think that game was a tactical masterclass, just seeing contrasting style of football. Although I think Liverpool were very unlucky, they should have won that game. If they were clinical, anywhere like themselves, they would have won that game easily. I think they should have, because it's not like Atletico defended beauty. This wasn't the first leg where they defended very well. So there were chances that Liverpool should have taken, I think. But the game was very interesting to me. I enjoyed the game.
I just quickly refer to one podcast like that. Somebody was saying, people always say tactical masterclass only for defensive performances. Why don't they praise Pep Guardiola, for example, for if Man City win 5-0, they never say, that was a tactical masterclass by Pep Guardiola. But it's only when somebody's playing defensive football, they say, Mourinho tactical masterclass.
Yeah, they usually, I think
that's true. That's true.
It should work both ways,
It should. I agree with you. It should.
It should work both ways, but I'm not calling you out for using it. I'm just saying I'm just amused by people saying.
Correct. And that's why I said both ways. Yeah. And if you see my comments, then I was praising both. In fact, I was praising Liverpool more during the game because I was seeing what Klopp was doing, pinning them, moving them around. He had learned from the first leg and he was opening them up, but it just bad decisions, last minute bad decisions. Salah,
poor finishing.
Poor finishing. Yeah, they should have won that game easily. I think the second one that comes close for me is the City Madrid game. I really enjoyed that one too. That game was super, super tactical too. That That was
I didn't know you were including games from other competitions. So do you mean like any football game?
Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway,
Okay.
whatever football
Okay.
game that you saw this past season. For me, those are my two most enjoyable games that
Gotcha.
I have seen. This because I felt like this. I mean, because the Premiership was just kind of a one-way traffic this season. You know, I mean, yeah. If you're not a Liverpool fan, you're just like, nah. The inevitable is about to happen. I mean, which is fine. It's still. I mean, I'm not dogging Liverpool, but that's how it felt this season.
Yeah,
a lot of the top 4 teams. Yeah, there's not much excitement.
Other people.
Yeah, and funny enough, even though you guys, Liverpool, you guys and City are our biggest rivals, the season before I enjoyed it. I told everybody, I was enjoying it. The fact that it was going to the last day, I enjoyed it because it felt like there was something to look forward to. You know, I did enjoy it. I'm just speaking. I'm happy being a lone wolf here. I've told a lot of other Manchester United fans who always try to come for me. I'm very happy being a lone wolf. I enjoyed it being a football fan. There was something to look forward to. It was intense to the last day. Because we're not going to get that every time. What we get most times is what this season. This season is what we get most times.
Do we really get this kind of thing?
No. Yeah, I understand. No, not to this level.
This is too much.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is this is too much. What I'm trying to say is what typically happens, we get to February, March.
Yeah. Someone breaks away.
One team is like 10 points. That's what's been happening for like the last.
Exactly.
Most times. Yeah, this is the first time. The season before was the first time. The season before was the first time in a long time that we went to the last day.
Yeah,
Leicester season.
Yeah, the previous season that was the Aguero season when both of you guys, Man United and City, went to the final day. Yeah, it's true. What Aya is saying is true. You don't get final day finishes from too often. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah, the closest that would have happened in between since the Aguero 2012 was this Leicester when Leicester won it. Leicester I thought now.
Yeah, I think they still won.
And that was still far. It was still a little bit further out.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 games to the end.
And that was just mathematics because we still finished on top of Tottenham.
Correct. That's true.
That was just mathematically.
Because they collapsed. They collapsed after losing that. They collapsed.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, yeah. Well, we look forward to the season coming back. I think this was fun, guys. If you're watching this again, we have to do the admin at the end, as we always do. Follow us. This will come out on YouTube. The audio version will be on Spotify. On YouTube, you can find us Footy Fantasy on the Spotify or anywhere you find your podcast where the audio version will be on. It's called The Footy Fantasy. Footy is spelled FOOTIE. Everything will be at the end of the podcast, so watch out for all the addresses. You can find us on Twitter, Footy Fantasy. You know, sometimes I'm on there, you know, always trolling. You know, you can come at me if you want. You can find us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is active. Website, you know, we'll try to put some content. I'm thinking of writing some articles, you know, during this downtime. You know, just some old school articles just to pique people's interest. EeJay, this was fun. Thanks for coming on.
As always.
Ola, thanks for coming.
No problem. Enjoy everybody.
I know you have to go to sleep now, so.
Much needed sleep.
Yeah, much needed. Hey guys, thanks for coming. Watch out for our next one.
All right.